In every city, there are crimes that get solved, crimes that get forgotten, and crimes that continue to haunt everyone involved, long after the case file is closed. This is the story of one such crime. Today's case takes us to the rainy, crowded streets of Heidelberg, a city known for its sprawling night markets, old stone bridges, and a police department drowning in more cases than it can ever solve. But among those thousands of cases lies a file labeled H57, the last caller case. A case that shook the city, destroyed lives, and left behind one chilling question. How far can a single moment of fear push a person into uncovering the darkest truths of their own life? This is that story. The night of the call. On the night of October 12, 2021, at exactly 11:47 p.m., the emergency call center in Heidelberg received a strange call. The caller was a young woman. Her voice trembling. Please send someone. Someone is inside my house. The operator, a calm and experienced woman named Anna Paul, asked the routine questions. Name, address, description of the intruder. But the caller didn't respond properly. There were gasps, whispers, footsteps. And then, after 31 seconds of silence, the line went dead. The call was registered, but no patrol car was sent. It wasn't intentional, it was a busy night, the system was overloaded, protocols were bent. Only the next morning, when a follow-up call was made, did someone finally go to the address. Apartment 306, Willow Crest Towers. Inside that apartment, they found something chilling. The caller, 24-year-old Sarah Menden, was missing. No signs of forced entry. No body. No clues. Just a phone lying on the floor, its screen cracked, and one print of a muddy shoe near the balcony door. A case was opened. The missing woman. Sarah wasn't the kind of person who disappeared. She worked as a junior accountant at a local firm. Quiet, responsible, never late, no enemies, no debts. Her neighbors described her as polite, always smiling, the kind of girl who watered her plants every morning before work. Her parents lived 3 hours away. They rushed to the station as soon as they were informed. Her mother kept repeating the same question. Why didn't anyone come when she called? Why didn't anyone help my daughter? The police had no answer. Sarah's apartment was searched thoroughly. Nothing was stolen. No signs of violence except the cracked phone. The single muddy footprint didn't match Sarah's shoes. Yet there were no other prints. No fingerprints. No hair. Nothing. It was as if the intruder had evaporated into thin air. The investigation was put under Detective Marcus Hale, a sharp-witted, heavy-eyed officer known for taking difficult cases personally. And this case hit him harder than most. Because the moment he saw the recording of that last call, something felt off, not about the intruder, but about Sarah. The secret life. As Hale dug into Sarah's past, he found something unusual. Everyone thought Sarah lived a quiet life. But according to her phone records, she had been making dozens of calls to unregistered numbers. Late at night. Always brief. Always ending with her deleting the logs, except for the last few days, maybe because she forgot. One number in particular stood out, a number saved under the name. The last caller. There were 19 calls exchanged between them in the last month. But the number was untraceable. Hale's instincts screamed that whoever the last caller was, they were involved. But he didn't yet know how deep this connection went. The neighbor who heard too much. On the second day of investigation, a neighbor came forward, Mrs. Eileen Harper, a 60-year-old retired teacher who lived directly below Sarah. She claimed she had heard noises around 11:30 p.m. the night of the disappearance. It sounded like someone crying, and then furniture moving, and then a heavy thud. After that, nothing. When she was asked why she didn't inform anyone, she looked down in shame. I hear couples fight, kids shout, people argue all the time. I didn't know someone was in danger. People seldom do, until it's too late. Her testimony conflicted with the timeline. If the noises were at 11:30, Sarah called at 11:47, which meant she was alive long after the intruder entered. She wasn't alone in that apartment before the intruder arrived. The case got darker. The video file. On the third day, Sarah's cloud backup restored something unexpected, a video file recorded 10 days before her disappearance. In the video, Sarah looked terrified. Her face was pale, eyes swollen, hands shaking. She said, "If something happens to me, if I go missing, please know it wasn't a random intruder. Someone is watching me. Someone I trusted." And then she ended the video. Detective Hale watched it 3 times. And each time, he noticed the same thing. Sarah kept glancing nervously toward the apartment's hallway, as if expecting someone to walk in at any moment. Whoever she suspected wasn't a stranger. The ex-boyfriend. Police soon found out that Sarah once had a relationship with a man named Adrian Kells, an IT engineer. Smart, handsome, well-spoken. But something about him was wrong. He claimed the breakup was mutual. He claimed he hadn't contacted her in months. He claimed he had moved on. But his claims didn't match reality. Because his car was seen near Sarah's apartment 2 nights before the disappearance. He had deleted recent call logs and messages. And the muddy footprint from the scene? It matched the pattern of boots he owned. When questioned about the footage of Sarah saying, "Someone I trusted," he grew nervous. She wasn't talking about me. She had anxiety issues. She imagined things. But Sarah had no history of anxiety. No medication. No records. Nothing. Hale knew Adrian was lying. But there was no solid evidence to hold him. Still, something didn't sit right. The apartment across the street. The turning point came when a CCTV camera from a building across the street was reviewed. At 11:29 p.m., a shadowy figure entered Sarah's building. He wore a hooded jacket, moving confidently as if he had been there before. At 11:52 p.m., he walked out. Calm. Not hurried. Almost as if he knew nobody had heard the struggle. But his face was never visible. However, as he passed under a streetlight, one reflection gave him away. He had a scar on his right jawline. Detective Hale froze. Because he had seen that scar before. On Adrian Kells. But the story was not that simple. Just as Adrian was about to be arrested, something unbelievable happened. A message was sent to the police station inbox from Sarah's email, time-stamped 3 days after her disappearance. It said, "I am safe. Please stop looking for me. I left the city by choice." The message shocked everyone. Her parents insisted she would never run away. The police team was split. Some believed it was a genuine email, others suspected foul play. But Hale knew one thing for sure. Sarah didn't write that email. And he could prove it. Because the message contained a signature line, a line she had removed from her account a year ago. Only someone who had access to her old backups, someone who knew her passwords, could have sent it. And that someone was Adrian. But again, this wasn't the full truth. Because at the same time that email was sent, Adrian was caught on CCTV 45 kilometers away buying groceries. He couldn't have sent that email. Unless someone else was involved. The second suspect. Hale dug deeper into Sarah's contacts and found a link he had overlooked. Sarah had been regularly calling a man named Jonathan Creel, a private investigator. He wasn't licensed. He wasn't official. He was a failed journalist who now spent his time digging up dirt for money. Jonathan claimed that Sarah had hired him to investigate someone. But he refused to say who. When Hale insisted, Jonathan said something chilling. "If she's gone, then the person she feared the most has already found her." Hale's frustration grew. Jonathan gave cryptic responses, avoided eye contact, and seemed genuinely afraid. But he wasn't lying. Jonathan had indeed spoken to Sarah. And he had records to prove it. He handed Hale a USB. Inside was an audio recording. The audio. In the recording, Sarah's voice was faint, terrified, broken. "He knows where I live now. He followed me again today. And I think Adrian is helping him." Jonathan asked, "Who?" Sarah whispered a name. A name that froze Hale's blood. "My father." The room went dead silent. Hale replayed it again, sure that he misheard. But the recording was clear. Sarah believed her own father was behind the stalking. And suddenly, everything clicked. The hidden calls. The secrecy. The fear. The video message. The deleted logs. The intruder entering confidently, like someone familiar with the place. Sarah wasn't afraid of Adrian. Adrian wasn't the villain. There was another man. A man with access to the family, to her accounts, to her childhood memories, to her passwords. A man she trusted once, but feared now. The past. Hale dug into the father's background. Ernest Mendon. A respected professor, highly educated, soft-spoken, known for his strong moral values. But the deeper Hale looked, the more disturbing things he found. Ernest had a history of abusive behavior towards his wife when he was younger. He had been suspended from a college over allegations by female students. He controlled all family finances. And Sarah had moved out suddenly at 19, without telling anyone. Her parents always claimed she moved for college. But records showed she transferred out mid-semester. Something happened in that household. Something dark. And Sarah had been running from it all her life. The truth about the last caller. Finally, Hale uncovered the biggest twist. The mysterious number saved as the last caller was registered under a fake ID. But the device using that SIM belonged to Ernest Mendon. Sarah had been talking to her father without the mother knowing. He was manipulating her, guilting her, following her, trying to bring her back home. Her calls to Jonathan Creel were an attempt to collect proof. Proof that could expose Ernest. And Ernest knew it. The final night. On October 12th, Ernest traveled secretly to Heiderbrook. He parked his car 2 streets away to avoid CCTV. Wore a hooded jacket. Entered the building at 11:29 p.m. But according to phone triangulation, Adrian was also nearby, because Sarah had called him earlier, terrified. Both men were at the apartment that night. And here is what Hale pieced together. Sarah let Adrian inside because she expected him. Ernest arrived unexpectedly. A confrontation broke out. Sarah tried to call the police. In the struggle, the phone fell. Adrian tried to stop Ernest. Ernest, panicking, struck Sarah. Sarah fell, unconscious. Believing she was dead, Ernest dragged her out through the back stairwell. Adrian, terrified and confused, left by the main exit. This explained the 2 sets of timelines. And the muddy footprint near the balcony? That wasn't Adrian's. It matched Ernest's boots. Finding Sarah. With the truth finally clear, the police moved fast. Ernest was arrested. And within hours he confessed, but only partially. He claimed Sarah was alive when he took her. He claimed he dropped her at an old farmhouse the family owned outside the city. When officers rushed there, they found the farmhouse abandoned. But in the basement, they found a mattress, a blanket, a rope, and a small bottle of water. No Sarah. However, there was a single piece of evidence. A small sticky note on the wall that read, "I heard the sirens. I ran. If someone sees this, please tell my mom I tried." The handwriting matched Sarah's. She escaped. The end. Or maybe not. 3 days later, a woman matching Sarah's description was seen boarding a long-distance bus. Then in another city, someone reported seeing her buying medicine. Then in another town, a bakery worker claimed a shy young woman asked for a job. The police believe she is alive, and hiding, far away from her father, from Adrian, from everyone. Her mother still hopes she will return. But Hale knows the truth. Some people don't want justice. They just want escape. And maybe Sarah isn't lost. Maybe she finally found freedom.